Welcome to Backbreaking News, episode 176. Today, we're going to talk about we're going to simply just talk about my earlier WrestleMania predictions. I have done this earlier in the year, I think, but I want to say what matches I think are happening. I'm going to do 7 for each night. What I see likely to happen. So, the first match by far, even though I don't like to say it, it's not in any particular order. I could see, I'm going to say, I wouldn't know who you would have. Maybe Logan Paul. He goes after a lot of, it's very plausible that Logan Paul faces, at most, maybe Gunther. But that is not what I'm going to say. I think Gunther is going to... That's what I was going to say, but I'm going to say Braun Breaker versus John Cena. It just makes too much sense. The one title that John Cena has never won is in his grasp. And Braun Breaker is new enough to make it interesting. So I say Braun Breaker versus John Cena for the Intercontinental title. The next match I see happening is, even though I don't want to admit it, Liv Morgan, versus Rhea Ripley. I see that happening either by a Royal Rumble win or Elimination Chamber win. The next match I see happening on night 1 is, as of right now, I would say CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, I could definitely see happening. They're kind of building to it, alluding to it. So I could either see that being in the middle of the card or the main event. But I digress. Or you could do... I feel like thinking of an opponent from Logan Paul might be easier than I think it will be. Think about someone who's been in every WrestleMania since they debuted. I would say Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Yes, that I feel is very plausible to happen. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Here's where things get a little bit crazy. The Women's United States Championship, I think, will be defended. Chelsea Green against maybe Piper Niven. Chelsea Green versus Piper Niven. And then, if you're going to do one more women's match, I suggest doing Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. It's almost like they're building to it almost. They're almost building to it. And with this, the last match of the night, Gunther, if I had to predict who Gunther is going to face at WrestleMania this year, that's a tough challenge. But I think I'm going to go with... trying to think logically here. Oh, I know. Maybe they could do Gunther versus... Depending on who's Raw, then, I could see Gunther versus it would be Gunther, but I just don't know against who yet. I'm gonna say Gunther versus. Honestly, Gunther versus. What would be the biggest thing for Gunther? Gunther's going to defend his title, but as I said, against who would be the logical opponent here? And I think I know exactly the person. With Ilya Dragunov. They have had good matches, so why not do that at night one at WrestleMania? Ilya Dragunov versus what's his name? Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther. Night 2. I could see. Let's talk about. I see, like, maybe you need to have some tag team wrestlers here. So maybe DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns might be a WrestleMania match. This could be, or maybe I could also see the Raw tag team titles being the World tag team titles, the WWE tag team titles, maybe the Viking Raiders versus who is a tag team on Raw, like maybe some form of the Judgment Day. I can see that happening at WrestleMania. I also see maybe Nia Jax. Who's someone? Nia Jax. Finding Nia Jax an opponent is going to be hard. So I'm going to say. I think I'm going to play it safe and say someone probably with a little bit of strength. So the Women's Championship, the WWE Women's Championship would probably be I actually don't know, but I'm going to say since they've been doing maybe Tiffany Stratton, maybe it's Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton. Maybe it's a triple threat match. Nah, I'm gonna say. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Nia Jax. Oh, I had the perfect opponent. I don't want to say Bayley again, because that doesn't make any sense. But I have a feeling it's going to be against Bayley. Then Tiffany Stratton is going to cash in. Okay. The next match, the fourth match. Maybe this is the time where you pull the trigger on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory having a match. Who would win is up to interpretation, depending on who you like the most. And then LA Knight will probably be involved some way, somehow. So maybe I'm going to say LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and Shinsuke Nakamura. It might be a long stretch, because they might have other plans for the bloodline, but that's definitely plausible for the United States Championship. I cannot say But I definitely think the Women's Intercontinental Championship will be defended some way, somewhere around the card. That would be the next match. The Women's Intercontinental title being defended somewhere around the card. I don't know who's going to be champion yet, but I just have a feeling that it's going to make it, to the WrestleMania card. And the next one I could see Cody Rhodes either versus Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. That wouldn't make much sense to me, but I'm going to go with it and stay with it.